We have to read a notice. In accordance with the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting will be broadcast live through local access cable on Facebook Live on the public access Facebook page, and it will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Public Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. It's also available on Zoom.
Recording in progress.
What's that?
No, good, keep going.
Okay. And this is a continuation of a comprehensive 40B permit. The property which is the subject of this case is located at 318, 390, and 400 Howard Street, Lunenburg, Mass., known as Pondview Commons, Assessor Map 6, 17, and 17, Parcel 24, 20, and 34, respectively. The applicant is seeking a 40B approval for a comprehensive permit for the purpose of developing a 200-unit apartment community at 318, 390, and 400 Howard Street, Lunenburg. With that, I will introduce the board members. To my left is Lisa Normandin, the board secretary. I'm Alfred Gravel. This is James Bezikoski, David Blatt, Patrick Callahan, Tony Nicastro, and Don Gurney. Normally I would go into some of the other things, but tonight is a little bit different because we had scheduled tonight that we were going to do a traffic report and that we were also going to name the civil engineer that we picked. The traffic report and that are going to be continued toward the next hearing. As you can see, our attorney is not here, yet another commitment, and I don't believe that their attorney is present. I thought he might appear on Zoom, but I don't see him. So anyway, we do have the traffic report. It came in this Monday, so we will be reviewing that at the next meeting. We also did pick a civil engineer from Professional Services, PSC, and we have not retained them yet, and when Lisa reads a couple of things into the hearing tonight before we continue it, I'll explain a little better. So with that, Lisa, if you could read those in.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to read a memo that I got from Michelle Tranny on behalf of her father, Randall Heyer, and this was received December 8th. 2022. Good evening. I'm writing on behalf of my father, Randy Heyer, who lives at 397 Howard Street. He has lived in this home since 1982. At that time, the property across the street was owned by the Arrow family. As you likely know, they operated a massive chicken farm. When the family decided to sell the property, it passed into the hands of the current owner. For many years, from the perspective of my father and his immediate neighbors, the land has remained largely unused with some tree removal, site work, etc. However, in the recent year or two, activity at the site has noticeably increased. Most recently, a roadway-like area has been established directly across from my father's driveway. He has been made aware that the road leading into the huge planned development will be directly across from his driveway. Although my father has long enjoyed the peaceful location of his home, he understands that development does occur. He's not happy about the scale of this development, but he knew that Mr. O'Brien had planned to build many units. What he is most upset about is the placement of this roadway and the fact that runoff has been noticeable in the past few rain events. He took several pictures to document attached. His concern is that all the runoff from this roadway will flow down his driveway once the roadway is paved, causing severe icing. Although this is inconvenient for anyone, he is the primary caregiver for my extremely disabled mother, so this will add yet another burden to his already heavy load. He loves his property and plans to keep living there, but I am concerned that this will be another burden that he will incur. My dad already does the snow blowing, de-icing for his property. He insists on this, and now he will have to de-ice all the runoff from the new roadway. The runoff will also carry pollutants into his property, and since his well sits directly near the base of his driveway, right where the flow is headed, this is another huge cause for concern, in my opinion, and my background is in environmental science. Mr. O'Brien knows that my father is not in the best of circumstances. I am extremely upset that he didn't take the needs of my father into consideration when he established this road. I understand that he is a large developer and is looking at the situation from a profit standpoint. However, he has experience and therefore should have some skill at working with abutters. I do not live locally, so I have no idea if Mr. O'Brien followed the proper procedures by alerting the neighbors to this new land disturbance, but common decency would dictate that he would reach out to my father and let him know. He has been on good terms with my father and has often informed him of his intended plans in the past, and the only reason I can see for him not contacting him this time is because Mr. O'Brien knew he was making the wrong, and one might suggest, dishonest choice. I appeal to you to step into this situation and insist on Mr. O'Brien developing a mitigation strategy to prevent this massive runoff problem that will directly impact my father. I would ask that you challenge him to put his road somewhere else, but at the very least, I would like to see some drainage in place that will alleviate the problems of icing and well impacts. And there are a couple of photos. I'm sorry. Thank you for your time. I would like this email included in the Zoning Board of Appeals records. Sincerely, Michelle Hire Tranny, and a phone number, which I will not give out. And here's a photograph for those who want to see, and I don't know, John, if you can get it live. Subsequent to that, on December 12th, I received a letter from the attorneys Johnson and Bordenstein, who represent the client, property 318, 390, and 400 Howard Street, Pondview Commons, comprehensive permit, the homes at Arrow Estates. Dear Chairperson Gravel and board members, as you know, I represent the applicant in this comprehensive permit application currently pending before the board. As you are also aware, the board's legal counsel, Adam Costa, and I have each submitted letters to the board on the topic of whether the board has legal authority under the Comprehensive Permit Act, GLC 40B 20-23, to dispense with the requirements to obtain town meeting approval and Lunenburg Water District membership approval for the extension of sewer and water utilities to serve the project. My letters on this topic are dated September 29th and November 9th, 2022, and Attorney Costa's letter on this topic is dated October 12th, 2002, and references his earlier letter of September 2, 2021. As plainly stated by the applicant team during the board's prior hearing sessions in this matter, and as reflected in the project's application materials, extension of water and sewer utility service is essential to the project. A determination of the board's authority to allow for the extension of water and sewer utilities is a threshold issue, as the project is not feasible without approval of such utility service. Attorney Costa's letter of September 2, 2021 asserts that the Water District voters' authority to refuse extension of water service to the project cannot be overridden by the HAC, or the Housing Appeals Committee, or in advance, therefore, by the Zoning Board of Appeals. Similarly, Attorney Costa's letter also asserts that the board does not have the authority to override town meeting's authority to refuse extension of sewer service to the project and cannot be avoided, superseded, or affected by action of the HAC or the Zoning Board of Appeals. Although this question has been discussed by the board during its prior hearing session, the board has appeared to accept its legal counsel position, making the project infeasible, while contradictorily directing the applicant to proceed with and fund a detailed engineering peer review of the overall project. Respectfully, the applicant is now informing the board that it does not intend to proceed with such peer review until the board has made a specific determination that the board has legal authority under the Comprehensive Permit Act, General Law, Chapter 40B, Section 20.23, to dispense with the requirements to obtain town meeting approval and Lunenburg Water District membership approval for the extension of water, sewer, and water utilities to serve the project. Unless and until such a determination is made by the board, further proceedings on the pending application before the board would be futile. Should the board not make that determination, it would be in the interest of both the applicant and the board to promptly present the question of the board's authority regarding sewer and water utility extensions to either the Mass Housing Appeals Committee or the Massachusetts courts for determination. As you may already be aware, this question has also been presented by the applicant to the Lunenburg Sewer Commission and the Lunenburg Water Department for their consideration. I understand that both have indicated that the question has been taken under consideration and that responses will be forthcoming. As for the board's continued hearing session scheduled for this Wednesday, December 14th, 2022, the applicant is willing to further discuss the question of the board's authority regarding sewer and water utility extensions as needed at that time. However, should the board wish to continue the hearing to a meeting date in January 2023, where the focus of the hearing session would be the board's determination of its authority regarding sewer and water utility extensions, the applicant would be amenable. Very truly yours, David Costa, 1 Lunenburg Street, Lunenburg, Mass. 02104. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very truly yours, David Costa, 1 Lunenburg Street, Lunenburg, Mass. 02104. Thank you. Donald F. Borenstein of Johnson & Borenstein LLC, and that is copied to our attorney. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Okay, and with that, that is the reason why we are going to continue this hearing to a date in January. One other thing I should put out when I introduce Hans Winthrop is with us as well on Zoom. Normally, with a continuance, I wouldn't have public discussion, but if anybody would like to speak, I'm fine with that. I see none. Patrick, anybody?
No hands up on Zoom.
Okay, so with that, I will ask for a continuance to a date and time in January. I think that's the 11th.
January 11th, we have one 5-minute order of business at 7, and we could pick this up at 7:05.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And aye. So we are going to continue this hearing till January 11th. And again, as Lisa pointed out, it'll be just shortly after 7. With that, we thank you for coming out, Nicole.
Mr. Chair, could I, a quick question?
Yes.
Regarding the position that the applicant has taken, how does this affect, the usual idea of time of on due diligence?
Again, on this here, we chose, or the civil engineer, I believe we got shortly after the 7th, and we talked to them, and we got a revised quote, which came in on November 16th, and so at that time. So this time frame is being pushed out. We're certainly going to ask for that to be made up, because we have no monies at this time from the applicant.
Correct.
To give the go-ahead on these peer reviews.
Okay,
So
okay.
we will be,
Okay.
asking for that to be stretched to the same amount.
Okay. I guess my question was more of just how the state of Massachusetts would feel, because it is the applicant who's now,
Right,
it looks like delaying the process right now.
Correct. And Adam Costa, the town council, is also aware of it. And
Okay, we'll wait for
he
his
is going to be
opinion on it. Okay,
addressing that as well.
okay, good.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. We had a continuance, motion to adjourn.
So move.
I would make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Okay, first and a
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. And with that, this is continued till
January 11th, 2023, 7:05.